Good morning, everybody. Here we are for another UFC week. This week we've got UFC Fight Night at the Apex, Garcia versus Onama. Sorry I'm getting this out really late. Had a busy Friday with the little one and got tied up at work a little bit later than I also thought I would be. So once again, I apologize for the video being late this week. The first thing I'd like to just bring up is just like and subscribe, please. Um, as my subscribe numbers go up, I'm going to continue to do some things to this area and hopefully my production also. But, anyways, let's get right into this card. Our first fight of the night is Alan Carr versus Karin Carnelossi. Um, Carnelossi hasn't fought in a minute, but this is basically going to be striker versus grappler. Carnelossi needs to keep this fight standing. Now, she is going to have the power advantage on the feet, but I just don't think she's going to be able to keep it standing. I think Alan Carr is going to get basically probably a takedown in each round, or if Carnelossi perhaps gets back to her feet, maybe multiple takedowns. So I like Alan Carr by decision. This is one of those cards where I could actually see all three female fights going over. We actually haven't had that in a while on female fights. It used to be an automatic parlay piece, but of late it really hasn't been. But I really do like Alan Carr by decision. It's not a best bet, it's just a lean, but that's what I got on that one. Then our next one is Phil Rowe versus Coe. Rowe will have the power advantage, but Coe is just going to be the better technical striker. If it goes to the mat, he's going to be the better wrestler. He's going to have good leg kicks. I just can't go with Rowe here. While a lot of people might look to him as a live dog, and I do think it's a fairly close fight, I just give Coe the advantage in more areas, and when I see someone that has more ways to win, that's the side that I tend to go with, whether they're underdogs or favorites. So I'm going to lean with Coe here, just having more ways to win, being the better minute winner on the feet. He's going to be bringing the pressure on the feet, I think, even though Rowe will have the power, and he's got the grappling advantage, in my opinion, if it goes there. So my lean is Coe. Next, we got Artelene versus Ruiz. I have seen some people taking a stab with Ruiz because they feel like the line should be like a minus 150 Artelene, not a minus 375 or wherever it sits now. And I don't necessarily disagree. I just don't think that she's going to get it done. Her only shot is to wrestle for Ruiz, that is. And I don't even know if she's the better wrestler. It's a debate whether or not she even is. So if it stays on the feet, it's Artelene. She's going to have a pretty big, massive advantage on the feet, I think. But I still don't think she's going to knock her out. Like any of these females that are fighting on this card, a lot of them have knockouts, but not against UFC, not against decent UFC competition, to say. So that's why I'm leaning towards the over. I do think Artelene gets it done. I think she keeps it standing. And if it goes to the ground, I think she's going to be just as good on the ground or at least be able to get back up. So I like Artelene to get this done. But this is another one that I've got a lot of no bets on this one. Actually, I take that back. I do have one wager on this fight. It's a kind of a different one. It's Ardeline Ruiz fight to end by unanimous decision -110. There's also like a little sneaky 3-piece parlay if you wanted to just throw a couple bucks on it, and that's all 3 female fights end by unanimous decision is +500. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to happen because we could get a robbery. I mean, we could get a judge that has his eyes closed or just wacky scorecards or whatever. But I don't mind that either. On to our third and final female fight we got here. And why this fight is buried on the prelims is beyond me, because this is probably a title eliminator fight. Whoever loses this will probably be eliminated from any discussions. Whoever wins this will probably need one more win to get the title shot. I mean, if it was a male fight, it would definitely be on the main card. But being that it's a female fight, they're gonna shove it on the prelims. Vieira is more than likely going to have the power advantage here, but Dumas is just going to be better everywhere else. She's going to be the better striker. She's going to have threats of takedowns. She's going to be the busier striker. I could see Dumas going over her significant strike prop pretty easily. The problem I'm having is I can't find just a regular strike prop. The only thing I can find on DraftKings is 65 plus at a +115, where the normal number is probably going to be like 51.5, 52.5, somewhere's around there at like a -115. Like if you can find it under 55 at a -115, I would take it. I'm waiting to see if same game parlay options come available on DraftKings to where I could say take the fight over 1.5 rounds and then take Dumas at 50 plus strikes and maybe get -125 or something like that. I'm going to be looking for that. Mind you, this fight here won't probably start till about 6:30. But anyways, back to the fight. I like Dumas a lot. I think she's going to get the win. So if you want to use her as a parlay piece, I don't mind it. I just have like 2 or 3 other fights that I like better as a parlay piece. That's the only reason why I didn't use her as a parlay piece. You could also use her by decision at even money, I believe. But I'm not going to do that either. So, but I do like her to win. And I do like the over a lot. I do have fight to go the distance in a parlay. I got it at like a -350 though to go the distance. I believe now it's a -400. I would wait because generally an hour or 2 before fights start, those numbers tend to come back down again. So I would keep an eye on those. All right, next we got Johnson versus Dumas. Now, if you remember, Sadiqris Dumas is the fighter that had the anklet bracelet on, couldn't get cleared to get it off, and missed a fight. Then in his last fight, he took a shot to the nuts and couldn't continue. And this guy needs the money, but I just don't think his head is there. I just don't think his head is in the right place right now with all the legal issues that he has going on. He is a dangerous fighter. Now, Johnson is coming off his Dana White Contender Series win, but he fought that at heavyweight. Now he didn't weigh in at like 240 pounds or anything like that when he had that fight. He weighed in at like 209, and he took care of him in the first round. I mean, he's got some hands. He's got power. And now he's going to be – I thought maybe he would just come down. I thought maybe he would just settle in at light heavyweight, but actually shedding the other 15, 20 pounds, as long as he looks good on the scales. I haven't checked it out yet. I want to check it out today. Then I like him in this fight a lot. The one thing that I do have as a parlay piece is fight to end by knockout. It's like a minus 300 range. And normally FanDuel has the best odds on those, just to let you know. DraftKings odds on those usually aren't the greatest. But I do like Johnson. I do like him to win by knockout. One prop I'm going to put a little sprinkle on. This is on DraftKings. And that is fight to end in the second round plus 320. Doesn't matter who wins it. Doesn't matter if it's Johnson or Dumas. I mean, if you want to get even a little bit different and do Dumas in the second, or Johnson in the second, I don't hate it. But if this fight goes long, I probably give the advantage to Dumas the deeper it goes. But I just saw the number, and I'm just gonna throw probably just enough to win like $20 on it or something like that. Not a lot. Our next fight that we're going to be talking about is Kwamba versus Lee. Sorry, I couldn't find it on my board for a second. In this spot here, I'm not taking the road to the UFC fighter, which is Lee. I'm going to lean Kwamba. I think Kwamba is just going to have moral ways to win. I think this is definitely a 50-50 fight. But I think Kwamba is going to be the better striker and possibly even the better wrestler. So I like Kwamba. This is another one of those fights where I'm just taking the fighter that I feel has more ways to win. This is not a best bet for me. I do like the over a lot, though. Like the over 2.5 at a minus 200. I think that's a pretty good parlay piece, actually. I actually might end up doing another parlay with him in it on either fight over 2.5 or even just go fight to go the distance. So I like that a lot. But I do like Kwamba to get his hand raised here at a slight favorite. I believe he's a minus 120 right now. So there's still good money, good odds on him. And if you have DraftKings, you can get creative with some of these fights and go do a same game parlay and go over a half a round / money line, and it probably makes him even money. Those are some ways to get a little creative, especially if you have DraftKings. On to our next one, we got Christian versus Elikana. I don't think Christian is a UFC caliber fighter, to be honest. I think his only shot is a submission off his back. I like Elikana a lot as a parlay piece. Now, he's not on my official parlay, but I definitely would add him. Like if you want to do a 3-leg instead of a 2-leg, there you go. Elikana, Nascimento, and Durgan or whatever it is, Bulgarian, sorry. Do all three of those on the money line. I like it a lot. So anyways, I like Elikana to be the better fighter everywhere. And he's even going to be the better grappler if it goes there. He's just got to stay safe, and I think he's smart enough to do that. It's a great parlay piece, once again, but I think he more than likely keeps it standing and at some point might even find a knockout. Next, we got Nascimento versus Durden. I can't take Durden. I just can't do it. I mean, the dude's just he's been lost too many in a row for me. And he might be the better striker here. There's a good chance that he is. But Nascimento even though Durden likes to wrestle, Durden's not a bad wrestler, but Nascimento is the way better grappler, way better with positions on the ground, way better submission threat on the ground. And I think, what does Nascimento do? He takes fights to the ground. He takes fights to the mat. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do it again and again and again until he finds that submission. And I didn't write a little thingy for this one, but I am going to put a little bit of money on submission plus 150 for Nascimento. I do like that a lot. I've also got Nascimento in a parlay piece that we'll talk about later. And then next we got Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunza. I'm going to be on Frunza here. I know there's still a lot of people on Radke. I just, after watching tape on him, I can't trust his chin. But I can tell you this. I trust Daniel Frunza. I mean, he's not going to quit. I mean, he's going to be a fighter. He's going to fight for your money, and that's what I want. That's what I look for in a fighter. Someone that's going to be a dog, someone that's going to fight for my money, someone that might just be able to eat Charles Radke's left hook and still keep on coming, and then Radke may not know what to do. And I saw Radke get knocked out recently, and the punches didn't look, I'm not going to say they didn't look bad because I know I couldn't take them, but a few of the shots didn't even look like they were clean shots, and it knocked him down, and he was done. So I like Frunza here. I like two different ones. I like Frunza on the money line plus 142. It might even be a plus 150 elsewhere, or knockout plus 240. I think that's how he wins. If this fight goes all 3 rounds, it might actually be Radke's fight. But I will say this. Frunza will more than likely also be the minute winner on the feet because he's going to be the busier striker also. So another prop that I don't mind is Frunza over 35.5 significant strikes. If this gets to the halfway point of the fight, then it's going to cash. There is a slight concern of Radke wrestling, but I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he just stays on the feet, and I think Frunza finds the chin and gets the KO at a plus 240. Then we got Dalgarian versus Duvall. I don't think Duvall's that good. I mean, if anybody watched one of his, I mean, he's only had 1 or 2 fights in the UFC, I believe. And the only fight I could find tape on was one of his last fights in the LFA. And I didn't even think he won it. I mean, when they read off the decision, 30-27, 29-28, 30-27, I was like, what? No way. But it's the way it goes sometimes. But Dalgarian is just going to be better everywhere. He's going to be the better grappler, the better scrambler. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Both of these fighters like to wrestle, but Dalgarian's just going to be way better at it, in my opinion. And Dalgarian's the type where he's not a lay and pray type of wrestler either. He's going to be looking to advance for some submissions. He's going to be busy on the ground, like beating you up, elbows, hammer fists, just, and then just trying to get that submission. And I don't know if he gets it, but I have no idea how he wins, but I feel really confident in him winning. So another play that I'm willing to give out is Dalgarian minus 7.5 on the point spread, minus 120. Basically, he's got to win all 3 rounds or win by finish. And Another thing that I could see happening would be Delval slowing down in the second half of the fight also if it makes it that far. So I like Bulgarian a lot on the money line. A lot. So that's going to be a parlay piece at the end that I'll bring up also. And then now we got Wells versus Grimbo. This is a fight. I really don't have much take on this one. I mean, this is like a true 50-50 fight. I think Grimbo might be a minus 140 now, with Wells being like a plus 115 on the other side. I do see a lot of grappling going on in this fight. I think they're both going to try and wrestle. They're both pretty good on the mat. And I do like the over a lot, though, on that fight. So if you want to use the over as a parlay piece, I don't hate that at all. I'm going to lean Wells just because it's the plus money tag. But it's not anything I would recommend betting, or it's nothing I'm going to endorse on a betting side, I should say. But I do like the over. Now, this next fight I do like a lot. There's a couple things I like in this fight. Okay, we got Cortez Acosta versus Dalia. Now Dalia is the fighter that has come over from the PFL, and I also watch the PFL a lot. And he's also now training with Tom Aspinall. In the PFL, he was their champion one year, I believe, in 2022, when they do their seasons and then they, do their tournament brackets for the season and then have the champion. He did win that one year. And Cortez Acosta, he's going to be the better technical striker, but I don't believe he brings any power. So if you're on the Acosta side, bet the over. I mean, the Dalia side, it could go a lot of different ways. I mean, Dalia's going to have more power, and he's going to have the threat to grapple. And I actually do like him to get a takedown in this fight. Minus 115. I'm gonna use that as a piece. I might even put a sprinkle on 2+ at a plus 250. I think that's going to be one of his avenues, is possibly wrestling. If you watch the PFL fight back versus Raynon Fiera, I believe it was, who's a pretty big dude, pretty well shaped, athletic, bigger guy. Fiera is in the PFL, and he got him down. It might have even been twice. I can't remember now, but here's two wagers I like. Dalia minus 130, and then a separate wager on over 2.5 rounds minus 128. Hopefully the over 2.5 number is still available. That was on FanDuel. Now, if you want to do, rather than doing the minus 130, if you want to do a same game parlay on DraftKings and do over a half a round / money line, that should bring it close to plus 100. I haven't looked to see what that is yet, but I do like those a lot. So yeah, that's what I got on that one. I like that fight a lot. Then our main event of the evening, guys, we got Steve Garcia versus David Onama. It's going to be a banger for as long as it lasts. It's a 5-round fight, but the over is set at 1.5 rounds. So there you go. I've got Garcia. I think they're both going to have some power. I think Onama's is going to be the little bit better striker. Now that's a lean. That's not a wager. So I do like Garcia, but my favorite play for this fight is fight to end by knockout as a parlay piece at a minus 320 or minus 330 range. So yeah, I really don't have a lot to talk about on that fight. I just lean Garcia, and I like the fight to not last very long. Now I'm going to pull up some of my wagers. So these are some of my parlays that I placed. And I'm going to go to the bigger screen just so that I can see it better. I don't know if it helps you guys at all, but. And that's my first parlay is the Johnson-Dumas fight to end by knockout. Garcia-Onama fight end by knockout. And then the Vieira-Dumont fight to go the distance, plus 119. That was on FanDuel. Then I've got Bulgarian money line, then Nascimento by double method on FanDuel, submission/decision, plus 100. Now, if you have DraftKings, I just worked it up before I started this just to see what the odds were, and I actually threw a few bucks on it. And you take both Bulgarian and Nascimento, but you build them in the same game parlay and do over a half a round. And that was a plus 135. So that was even better odds. And I think they're both going to wrestle. So therefore, the over half a round is, I'm not going to say a lock, but it's very, very likely to make it past the halfway point of the first round. So if you want to build that on DraftKings, plus 135, I like that a lot, which I already did it too. Then my third and final parlay is going to be Arteline versus Ruiz over 1.5 rounds. Alencar versus Carnelosa over 1.5 rounds. Then the Acosta versus D'Elia fight over 1.5 rounds, minus 105. I like that quite a bit. So now we got, there we go. Our singles here, and I'll blow this up. So I've got singles, D'Elia minus 130 on the money line, over 2.5 rounds, minus 128. Frunza plus 142 on the money line, KO plus 240, and I did write it down as significant strike prop. Significant strike prop here, over 35.5, minus 115. That's on DraftKings. And then the Arteline versus Ruiz fight to end by unanimous decision, minus 110. Nascimento by submission, plus 150. The only one I'd add on to this would be the Dumont significant strike prop. But the only one I could find was on DraftKings at 65 plus at a plus 115, which I don't hate. I mean, I think she's very likely to get 80 plus. But I'm going to wait to see if I can find a over 52.5, 53.5, something like that at a minus 115 range, because I like that better. Those are my plays for UFC Fight Night, Garcia versus Onama. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Or if you have any fights that you like, I'd love to hear about them. Hope everybody has a great day, and hopefully we cash some bets together.